welcome to TCS. My name is Marisa Bludon. I am your host. We focus on leadership and organizational development on this platform. Today, taking center stage and owning it with me is one of our past cover girls who's going to be another cover girl. She's going to be on our cover again coming up in the months ahead. And we are talking about unclocking your purpose. Taking center stage and owning it with me is Dr. Stephanie Reid. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you? Thank you for having me today. Woo, what a ride.
Yeah, listen, what a journey, and we're all facing it, right? We're all facing all of this, pulls and wanting to achieve, our goals. We're on a mission with our vision and all that other good stuff, and life is always happening. Life is always happening, and it's not that when we go through our challenges and we have a tendency to kind of avoid the conversation of, um, you know, how even in the midst of having great success, it can be, really, really, challenging. It can take a lot away. And we got to talk about that stuff. We can't not address it. We have to address it so that we learn how to process things in a way that's not going to cause us to get sick. It's not going to cause us to crash. We have to be honest. People talk about authenticity, but and but we always focus on the positive. No one wants to hear anybody complaining. And talking about your stress and talking about what you're going through is not complaining. It's really getting it out of your system. So you talk about that. Your focus is, unclock it. Unclock it so that you can move forward. So talk to the people about what's on your heart today in regards to working with your clients and things like that, dealing with this, sometimes a stressful time.
Yeah, I exclusively work with women over 40. And that is my sweet spot in helping women as a naturopathic wellness coach. And the reason why I do that is because by the time we get to this age, right, women have an accumulation of stress. They don't realize that they have an accumulation of stress. What happens is when emotions or situations come up, we're so used to saying, this is happening, but that's okay. Right. And we go, but it's all right. It's all good. Each time you do that, you compound the energy of that and don't allow it to dissipate. And as that energy starts to build, the pressure of that energy slows down and gets heavy, and it literally manifests into a dis-ease. So when we don't acknowledge where we are in our journey of our greatness, our come up, our unleashed, our unclocked, whatever you want to call it, if we don't acknowledge those bumps in the roads, those are actually opportunities for energetic rest, and we don't take them. We just keep plowing along. The more you plow along, you'll find that you don't have the productivity that you think that you should have. You don't achieve with a level of success that matters. If anything, you start to slow down and you make mistakes and you catch a cold or you catch COVID or you get the flu or you stub your toe these are all the ways that the universe is trying to get us to slow down. But in our quest for greatness, we just feel like it's better to keep it moving regardless. And that is a recipe for a blow up, not a glow up, right?
Yep.
The
Yep.
mask will come off and it will come off at a time where you're not ready to be exposed because you don't have the energy to hold it back in as you keep going on this grind. And women in this age bracket are notorious for doing that. I think we feel like we need to catch up. We lost time. We have to make up for lost time for something that we didn't do, that we should have done, we could have done. And I would say when those moments come, sit down and let it I tell my clients, just let it burn for a second. Just feel it. Don't
Yeah.
override it. Don't override it. Just feel it. And then process it through the four phases of a woman's life to see where you're standing. Are you the maiden, the mother, the guardian, or the crone in the moment of that experience? It's a
Right.
deep process. The unclocking process is necessary for this reason for women of this age group, or else we will burn out and it will turn into a disease that's horrific. We can't
Yeah.
afford that
Yeah.
anymore.
No, no, not with the number one killer of women is heart disease.
Mhm.
And that is
Yeah.
the matters that, we have, uh, Teresa Palmer, the cardiologist nurse, and she
Mhm.
talks about how in the heart is our emotions. And we have
Mhm.
been a society that has shunned expressing emotions. And that's why people are lashing out the way that they are,
Yeah.
because hope deferred makes the heart sick. So
Sick.
if you can't express what's going on in your heart, the truth about what's going on in your heart, it's like you said, it's either fight or flight. And people, if we're doing that flight thing, we're running from our emotions. We're operating in so much dysfunction. And you would say, okay, you're on an organizational platform, you're on leadership platform, but that's what's happening in our leadership. That's what's happening in corporations and companies. These people are the very people who are coming up into a job. They're coming into the
Mhm.
office, and they're
Mhm.
coming in, and their performance, if they're running and they're coming into the office, it's affecting their performance on the job, right? It's affecting how they show up. And ultimately, it's affecting the organization. So it's in companies, it's in their favor to have concern. I know when I was at Princeton University, they had an organization that would come in and offer these free classes on not
Mhm.
only just how to deal with work environment issues, but also home, because it's called the spillover effect.
Yeah.
Over to work, work spills over into life, right? When you go home, you can't. And so we have to train people on how to, one, be woke to self. You need to be awake to yourself. That's that unclocking. You need to be awake to who you are and be present in the moment. Put your phones down, put technology down, and come into the present. And because that's what the problem is you want to deflect. And I always say it's as simple as this. It's not complex at all. It's as simple as this. If you keep, instead of emptying the dustpan and throwing the garbage, the dust that you picked up off the ground with the broom and the dustpan, if you don't put it in the garbage, take that garbage outside. If you don't empty the garbage, it's gonna start smelling up your house. If you keep sweeping the dust underneath the rug, ultimately that it's going to become a pile. Now, in the beginning, you can't see it, but if you continue this pattern, it's going to be a big lump. And what's that? Just do the work. If you condition yourself, like you said, to be in the present, it becomes a natural way that you respond. It becomes a part of your systematic, unconscious way of responding to life. That's why it's really important for them to connect with you, and so that they can get trained in being present in the moment. And so this is really a big, big issue in our society today. But the work that you do allows us to say to the society, buck it back. No, this is how I feel, and they have to own that. So talk to our audience in regards to how do you teach them, how do you work with them and teach them how to do this thing?
I had my coaching class with a group of clients last evening, and one of the things that I taught them was how to find their own energy. If you
Mhm.
find your own energy, anything that vibrates against that, it'll be easier to create a boundary for, because it doesn't feel right, right? But here's a problem. There are four phases of a woman's life: the maiden, the mother, the guardian, and the crone. The maiden is the young woman before she becomes a mother. If she's in the maiden phase long enough, she will discover more things about herself that will create those boundaries. She'll start to have a relationship with herself. More times than not, women don't have that time because they become mothers soon. So if you become a mother or a mother figure to siblings when you were younger, you put that self-development on the back burner to outwardly give your energy away, and you never discover who you are. And so that creates opportunities for your boundaries to be easily crossed. And that crossing of boundaries creates an accumulation of other people's stuff because you don't know how to cross it off. So that load that you're feeling by the time you're 40, 50, and 60 is not only just your load, but you don't recognize it as this came from outside of me and let me give it back. You just hold it in. So what I've taught my clients to do is look up the definition of your name. The definition of your name gives you the clue of the energy that you embody. But if you never knew that, you don't know how to have something deflect something that comes in that's unfamiliar if you don't know your own energy. So that's the way that I teach women to do it. So once you understand your own energy, when something comes in contrary to that, you can identify it very quickly. And that is your square. Like when somebody says, you knocked me off my square. Well, your square is your embodiment of your own energy. If you can keep recalibrating back to that, then it's very easy to discern when it's something is not that, and you can dispel it away. And the other thing that I share with women is once you discover who you are based on the energy that you embody from just your name, you get to see things around you from a different perspective. And then you can use discernment more easily, right? So I gave the analogy of you're being in a room and you're in the corner just observing. You're observing because you're realizing that everything outside of you may or may not resonate with the energy that you have. You can observe it, pick the wisdom out of those experiences and leave the pain, because if you go back in the fray, the wounding is 10 times worse. So once you discover yourself, you stay in that energy, because at the end of the day, you never smelt how bad, like you said, the trash was until you stepped out of it. You see the world in a totally different way, right? So from that perspective, you were able to gain more of your feminine energy back, right? You take your life back. You take your creativity back. You take your energy force back. You take your love back from the places that didn't need them, and you give it back to yourself. And from that moment, when you have those days, you can recalibrate more easily. But you have to know who you are first, the energy you embody, right? So I give you an example. My name is Stephanie, and Stephanie means crown. Crown indicates regal. And I understand that being regal is not something that is a self-absorbed kind of experience. It's an acknowledgement of the power that I have, and to yield that power efficiently, correctly, fairly, and with the utmost respect and love from anybody that I come in contact with. That is crown, that is regal. Whenever I feel like I can't be that, that lets me know that I'm not vibrating in where I need to be, and I will remove myself. Because it doesn't align, it doesn't give me fortification of the natural energy that I embody. That is the secret of the unclocking experience that I teach women 40 plus, because until we know who we are, we can't glow up, we can't unleash, we can't do all those things that they say about doing the work, right? That is the work. And I put it together for women very easily in the course, coaching program, books, coloring books, journals. Anything you need, I'm here to help you unpack that, because my goal is to get women to be self-discovered so they can get to self-mastery. And that's a continuous process. And once you get on that journey, then I help you align with the version of yourself that has the purse to your purpose.
Yeah, that is so good. That is so good. And, I'll just say this is that the beautiful part about it is a process and a journey. If you can really value being, again, present through the whole process, and not feel like, oh, I got to rush it. Because I look at, so you talked about having to take care of your siblings when you were younger. And so for me, looked at that was that prepared me as a mom to not be overwhelmed when I had my first daughter, and I had my first daughter young. And I was thankful because I'm like, I'm grounded. Like, so I'm not, it's not scary for me to change diapers. It's not, I know how to, do the formula thing and all that stuff. It really helped me to be a lot more mature as a young mom. And even at 18, I turned 19 immediately after I had her. So I wasn't a baby, so to speak. So I, even at a young age, so other young moms didn't have a structure for their kids. I did at a young age because of that. And I was thankful for that. So I say that to say that when you can take something that may have been a stressor or something that you didn't want, I always say, get what you came for. So get whatever was negative. See in whatever that was what you can take to build a better tomorrow with yourself. That's how I look at the things that I experience that are adverse. And I so resonate with you, and I think that I've probably been saying vibration since hanging out with you, because I'm like, where did I get low frequency and vibe? Where am I getting these terms from? But Dr. Reid, I must be getting you. I've been saying them, and I'm noticing subconsciously and now consciously that I can tell when I'm dealing with people who are very low in where they're at, and where their thinking is, and not only where their thinking is, but their behavior. Because as a man thinks, so is he. So that I noticed that, and you can just tell. And I love your analogy with the crown and breathe. Operate in that. And I can tell when I gotta go gangster, and I'm like, I don't know, I shouldn't be in this environment, right? This is not the environment that I want to be in. You never want to take off your crown as a queen, because we don't do that. We know we don't get up from our throne to give instructions. We can sit right at our throne and give instructions, because we know our authority. And so that is so powerful. And so many people are in need of what you offer. They need to do that kind of work with you before they work with me. They need to do all that groundwork, because when you come to me, see, I did many years ago. I did look up my name, and so I have two names. And what you did do for me was, I'm going to look up my parents. They had nicknames for me. So my family has a nickname for me, and that's Marty. That is brave. No, Marty is warrior. Brave. Marisa is brave. So you have brave warrior. So when someone's saying something to me, they're all, when you calling me my name all day long, you either calling me a brave warrior or something like that. So now what I want to look up is what signifies. I do know what a moose represents. Moose are powerful. They are strong, powerful. And when we see moose, we always see them in a sense of just standing. We don't see them in action. But
Yeah,
honey,
yeah.
they can kill you so fast it'll make your head spin. So I did go and look up, because I look at symbolism, right?
Yes. Yes.
Flowing in the prophetic, and looking, and I look for signs and wonders. What does that, and meaning? What does that mean? What is it saying to me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Link to me. I seek for that. And so the other one is pumpkin. So I did a speech called, my dad called me Moose and my mom called me Pumpkin. And it really means that I can be sweet as pie, or I can trample you like I need to trample you. So that's how I looked at the dynamics of who I am and how I show up. And
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
believe that when we get to that point, That's the fulfillment. And that's the mastery of not being perfect, because we always want to be in a process of learning, right? We want to evolve, because
Yeah.
when we
Yeah.
come to the place of knowing, oh, this is it, then that's it. We want longevity. We want to keep learning more and
Keep
more and
it
more.
going. Keep it
Seriously.
going. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah. When you say we want to keep learning, we want to keep evolving, Marissa, as soon as we stop doing that, we stop to exist. That doesn't mean that we actually cross over at that moment, but it means that we stop growing and moving in the direction of the purpose that we were given breath for. You know, we all have a purpose, and the purpose is not something that you say, my purpose is your purpose is discovered through your life's journey, and you're able to extract the wisdom out of your trauma moments and leave the pain behind. And then you go, you know what? I'm glad that happened. That didn't feel good at the time, but wow, I see the beauty in that. The more you can do that, the more you will automatically flow on your purpose, because you'll see how they align. So one of the whole reasons why I help women in 40 and above to unclock themselves, I help you align with the version of yourself that can see the wisdom. So you can start purging those things out of your energy field. And so you won't feel like a victim, but a vessel of something greater than yourself given to you. But you can never see that when you're consistently giving yourself away, second guessing yourself, self sabotaging, not having good boundaries, don't know how to say no. You never get to that. And so right around 40, 50 something, things start going bump in the night with your body. And that's when women call me, oh, I was diagnosed with leukemia, or I was diagnosed with MS, or I was diagnosed. What can you do? Now, those words embody energy, but the word of a disease is just man's depiction of how the body is showing you something. So we don't even worry about the name of the diagnosis. We look at the manifestation of how you got it. For instance, I have two clients that have leukemia, and that is a blood cancer, and blood represents your life force. If you recognize that you've been giving your life force away your whole life for whatever reason, by the time you're on the planet 55, 56 years, you have no life force left. And that's why your blood is showing you, hey, hello, warning, Real Robinson, we have a problem, right? And so when we start looking at the root cause of how you gave yourself away, how you gave your life force away, you're able to see very clearly why your body has manifested something that gave that name. So one of the things I tell my clients is, don't own and claim it. I'm not saying be delusional, but don't say my cancer, my MS, no. In the presence of this experience, my body is showing me that.
Right.
We're not negating it. We're just giving a different perspective so we can have power over it, not be overpowered by it.
Yeah.
Right.
And don't own it. Don't own it as your own. You don't want ownership of that.
Yeah, don't own it. Don't say my cancer. No, that's not your cancer. You don't want that.
No.
You don't want that. We're more ready to say it's crazy, right? We're more ready to say my ex than we are to say my deliverance, my healing, my come up experience, my unclocking experience, my unleashing experience, my good, whatever you want to call it something else. Yeah. Because the more you call it that, you concentrate the energy of that thing and it grows.
Yeah.
Right? It grows. And we don't want to grow something that we don't want. We want to grow something that we can use for the betterment of our life on this earth while we're still here. Thus, unclocking your creative purpose.
That is so good. That is so good. And so we're closing out. So tell the audience how they can work with you. What are you up to these days? Let them know how they can get connected with you.
The easiest way to get connected to me, believe it or not, you can just call me. I know that my phone is going to be flooded, but you can just call me. And the reason why that is I love to connect with women at the moment that they discover, I need that, right? Because when we let the moment pass, old patterns come back very quickly and you don't give yourself that opportunity to move forward. So just pick up the phone when you feel that, just call me. From that point, what I would do is say, hey, I'm so glad you called. We're going to connect. I understand where you are. Let's schedule a date so we can meet and have a real conversation. And I then at that point have a Zoom call that'll last about an hour, and we kind of hash out what's really going on. And then you get an opportunity to have me one-on-one as your personal naturopathic wellness coach, where we deal with spirit, mind, and body. There's a course, a court platform, a community, a book, a workbook, a coloring book. There's a structure and a system. And I just want to make the distinction between coaching and counseling. A counselor will allow you to talk and purge and get the monkey off your back, but the root cause is still there. And that's why you can be in counseling for 5 years and talk about the same thing and never have resolved. Within an 8-week period, you will have complete understanding and resolution of how to move forward in your life, because you will learn how to deal with those things that you weren't able to put in their proper perspectives. From that, 8 weeks with me, your life is yours. Your life is yours after that. No more will you have to deal with triggers of past traumas, because how you do one thing is how you do everything. If you're anxious and overwhelmed by one thing, you're anxious and overwhelmed by everything. Work, relationships, kids, vacation, everything. Even on your vacation time, you're overwhelmed and stressed. That is a pattern that we can break as we teach you how to level up, stand in your power to be unclocked. What is unclocked? Unclocked is, for the first half of your life, you gave your life away to people, places, and things and responsibility. And it was all predicated on you being the woman, the nurturer, the developer, the creator of your womb, the nurturer with your breast. At some point, that time is over. When that time is over, that's your time to go back and give yourself back to yourself so you can live the rest of your life on purpose, as opposed to being on autopilot and self-sacrifice. And that's the whole point, right? That's the whole point.
Awesome. All right. So that was really, really good. And listen, we're going to be back. There's more to come. Make sure that you are staying tuned in. Make sure you reach out to Dr. Stephanie and connect with her and get that phone call. You can reach her on social media, Dr. Stephanie. You can Google her and find her everywhere. Message her, get connected with her, have that consultation, and get started. 8 weeks. 8 is new beginnings. Get it started. Get unclocked. Start now so you can finish your year. We're at the top of the year. Finish your year off strong and get disconnected, unclocked. We love you. Be blessed, and we will see you again. Keep watching us. Let us know you watched us. Make your comments, and we will respond. Take care.